Hello everyone, it's your casual gamer Meep here, and welcome back to the channel. The PTB for patch 5.3.0 has finally arrived, and with it there's so much to go over. In this video I wanted to go over the new survivor that we're going to be receiving. Her name is Michaela Reed, and she's going to be the witch of the group. Her backstory basically goes to the following. She worked as a barista, but had a strong interest in autumn, magic, and witchcraft. I think in some way we all know someone in our lives that basically sounds like her aesthetically. She entered a Halloween Horror Story contest and made it to the grand finale, which the prize money that she was going to earn, possibly if she won, was going to be enough to change her life by letting her start her own business. And as she was delivering her tale, the Black Fog of the entity came in and got her, never to be seen from again. With Michaela, she's introducing a new mechanic to the game with her perks, and that is the Boon Totems. Boon Totems can be placed on any Dull Totem, and you can also use on Hex Totems to deactivate the killer's Hex perks. But depending on the Hex, like Hex Haunted Grounds for instance, Blessing it will activate its effect and it'll cause all survivors to be exposed for its duration. But for other Hex perks like Hex Ruin, it'll deactivate the perk altogether. It does require a bit of time to bless a totem, but if you or someone else blesses a totem to create a Boon Totem, that totem's aura is revealed to you and all your teammates, meaning you essentially know all the totem spawns on the map and the areas whenever you get close enough to the totem's range. The rules of the Boon Totems are rather simple. You get one totem per survivor. Each survivor can only have one Boon Totem at a time, but as a trade-off, all your Boon perks that you're equipped, or running I should say, are equipped to that one totem, meaning if you're running multiple Boon perks, all of them will be concentrated into that one totem, so when you're within range of that one totem, you'll receive both your perks benefits. I say both because there's only two Boon perks at this point in time. Blessing a totem, you also get 1,000 points in the boldness category, which is a nice effect, honestly. A little blood points never hurts anyone. Also, a Boon Totem cannot be cleansed by another survivor, as the prompt will not show up, even if you're face to face with it like you would a Hex Totem normally. The killer can deactivate your Boon Totem, but when they do this, the totem remains intact, meaning you can reactivate your Boon perks on that particular totem again and again, at least until someone cleanses it if they decide to do that. As a survivor, you can also move your Boon Totem, even if it is already attached to another totem by blessing a different totem. As a killer, you can perform the Snub Out action on that particular totem to deactivate the effects of the survivor's Boon perk. And you also get 500 points in the Devious Blood category whenever you perform this action. When you're within range of the Boon Totem's effects, the sides of your screens will be tinted blue, and it will also show up in your in-game HUD near where your perks are, showing that you were receiving the benefits of the Boon Totem that you're being affected by. I think overall this is a fantastic new mechanic to the game, as it gives totems more purpose and thoughtfulness on how you can use them. It now also has a give and take effect with survivors, now that it can benefit us with Boon perks while they are active, but the killer can now take it away, similar to how we can take away their Hex Totems and thus deactivate our perks, temporarily at least. Going over her perks, we have Boon, Circle of Healing. Whenever this perk is active, all survivors within 28 meters of the Boon Totem gain a 90% increase to healing speeds, up to 100% at tier 3, but only if you are not using a medkit. I didn't know this until after the fact and was watching a friend play, and it also unlocks the ability to heal yourself without the use of the perk Self-Care or a medkit or another survivor. And honestly, I think it's kind of broken. Like, this basically gives you unlimited medkits for a Boon Totem. Like, this is a really strong effect. Like, I don't want to say like it's broken, but I'm like, it's kind of broken. Like, I thought it was strong on its own when I thought it was just the healing speed, but the fact that it also lets you self-care yourself is pretty powerful. I do think though that this is a really cool healing perk concept. It's essentially like creating a safe zone on the map, and the fact that you can move it by blessing a different Dull Totem or even Hex Totem makes it just really strong. Like, why wouldn't you run this perk? Also, it stacks with other healing perks, so imagine running both Will Make It and or We're Gonna Live Forever, which also increase your healing speeds by an additional 100% for each of their effects. I normally run both of these perks, and one of the most impactful and satisfying things I get out of it is being able to pick up a Slug Survivor in about 4 seconds, which can make for critical moments of gameplay. Plus, Will Make It, I've always considered is a really strong perk on its own. But going back to the perks, Michaela's second perk is Boon, Shadow Step, which makes it to where anytime you or another survivor are within 28 meters of the associated Boon Totem, you leave no scratch marks, and your aura is hidden from the killer during this time. Also, when you leave the range of the effect of the totem, it also persists for 2 seconds up to 4 seconds at tier 3. This perk might also be busted by how strong it can be, at least on paper. If you enter its range when the killer is chasing you and they lose line of sight for you for even like a split second or two, this could potentially allow you to escape chases, especially if you were like combining it with Iron Will and you're like on an outdoor map. But for an indoor map, like this might just outright lose them if you're not injured. As for the aura reading side of it, it essentially protects you and your teammates from everything the killer can possibly have to read your aura when you are within range of the totem. protects you from perks like Barbecue and Chili, I'm All Ears, and The Nurse's Calling, but also from the killer's aura reading add-ons as well. The only add-on that might have an effect, or an exception to this, is Michael Myers' Scratch Mirror, which allows him to see auras from up to 32 meters away whenever you are in tier 1. There's like no downside to running this perk. This may be actually a universally useful perk. It could actually shake up the meta, honestly. At least that's hopefully the intention of it. As for her last perk, it's Clairvoyancy. Whenever you cleanse a totem, the perk becomes activatable. Press the activate button and all trackable items in the environment, with the exception of killer traps and the hatch, will be revealed to you for 8 seconds, up to 10 seconds at tier 3, and this is all within a 64 meter range. It seems like a solid perk to run on its own to find objectives in other totems, or even the exegates, especially if it's endgame. The best part about this perk is that you also get to activate it whenever you want, compared to say Detective's Hunch for instance, which only activates whenever a generator is popped, which might not actually be as useful because you might also be in chase, so you won't be able to take advantage of the aura reading. I wouldn't be surprised if Survivor started running this perk with Inner Strength, as it has the same activation requirement of cleansing a totem. I just think overall it's like a good solid information perk, and it can be really useful at times. As a whole, her character is relatable and it fits the theme of the horror genre, at least in terms of her lore and visuals. Her perks are actually really fantastic and sound both interesting, fun, and impactful. And I'm looking forward to see the craziness that comes along with Michaela Reed and what people can do with her perks more or less. And with that being said, I'm going to be ending the video, and with it, I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you next time.